We're with Tara Fay, camogie and football, senior in both for Navan O Mahoney's. So do you have a favourite?
No, actually, it also depends who's going well each year, but thankfully we've been successful in camogie and football last year. We were a while plugging away at camogie with no medals at all. So this year I think is one of the first medals that I'm collecting for camogie after playing for a good while. So used to be football all the time because we were doing well, but overall now that both teams are going well, it's easier to enjoy both, I suppose.
With the football, have you always been senior, or have you been dropping
No,
between
so I think they won intermediate in 2012, went up to senior for a year, and we came down pretty quickly. So from when I started playing adult, we were junior, and we were plugging away at junior for a while. We got to semi-finals, finals, just couldn't get over the line. And then in 2019, we won junior, and we went all the way to the All-Ireland junior semi-final that year. And were beaten by a very strong Cork team down in Cork that year. And then 2 years later, won intermediate, and then have been senior since. So we came back up pretty quickly.
So pretty big success.
Yeah, it was enjoyable, yeah.
And did anything change to allow that, or did it just all click, or?
Well, I'm going to sound nepotistic now, but my dad became manager in 2018.
Yeah.
And then since then...
You've been winning.
Well, yeah, we've been very successful under Phil, thankfully. But we actually have new management in this year, so hopefully we continue the success and maybe get a senior title in the next year or two.
A lot of pressure on them.
Some, but we'll see how it goes. Like, once we can stay up senior, and I think last year we got to the semi-final, and that was the first senior semi-final that a ladies team had ever been in. So each year we're making history, so hopefully we can go a step further in the next year or two to get into a senior final.
Very good, that's fantastic. So is that the big mission for this year, senior final?
Well, we'll aim for semi-final, definitely. Obviously the senior championship is really strong in Meath, Dunboyne and Dunshaughlin dominating it, and both of them we lost to last year, so it would be nice to try and even get close to them. But it's definitely a future aim within the next few years that you'd like to see the club doing. And with so many younger girls coming up now, we have a really young team that with experience and getting to play more time at senior, that hopefully it will be in the future for us.
Fantastic, very good. Do you know how many ladies teams there is?
For championship, we fielded 3 teams for the first time ever last year, 3 ladies teams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had our senior team, junior B team and a new junior F team.
So that's in theory about 50 to 60
yeah, like the junior F team was a few adult players and predominantly under 17s, under 18s to try and get them involved in the adult setup. But we have minors playing on the senior team as well. I think last year we had 7 or 8 of our starting team were 18. So there's young players coming up. I suppose.
So that's looking good for the future.
Yes, that's definitely building on for a future of bright victories, hopefully.
Very good. So were you playing both? Have you no social life? Are you just training all the time?
I think football and camogie add to my social life. Like, obviously with training it gives and takes. That, like, I work in Dublin, so sometimes it'd be nice to stay in Dublin and meet some of my work colleagues, but I usually have to come home for training. But then at the weekends it's so football based, and after matches, like, there's stuff happening, whether it be just where you go for a coffee or there's a night out after a championship game. Like, it adds to your social life as well. And I have 30 more friends than I would have, I think, if I didn't play football and camogie. So the bond that we have on both teams at the moment is brilliant. So it adds a lot to your social life too, I suppose.
That's fantastic. That's really good. So you train 2 nights a week and 2 nights a week for
I 3 with football and 2 with camogie, but like, both managers are understanding that you have a lot on, so you might fulfill all 5 fixtures in a week. Yeah,
I understand. And is there many dual players?
Not loads, but there's probably 7 or 8. We're having the dinner dance next week, and we were trying to actually count how many people will be collecting medals for the football. We won the league last year, and then for camogie as well. And we think there's 5 or 6 that will get medals for both. And then as they get younger, there's actually a lot that play across both. But it's kind of hard to grasp because some might play junior football but senior camogie, or vice versa. So it's hard to actually get a number on who plays what.
I know what you mean. Hopefully somebody maybe. And what position do you play?
Usually anywhere from the half back line to the half forward line. I don't really have a set position. Once I can run around, I'm not too fussy on where I play, really.
Very good. And what, I know I'm going to skip around a little bit, what got you into hurling and camogie at the start? How long have you been playing since you were a kid?
I'm probably different to a few people that I came down to the nursery and I hated it and I cried and I actually didn't come back when I was 4 or 5 years old. And I went to primary school out in Boyerstown where Cottle O'Brick was the principal. So GAA had a huge role to play out in primary school. And at the time then I actually started playing camogie in Dundee. And then when I was kind of 4th or 5th class, I had been playing football in primary school and one of the girls asked why I didn't play with a club. So I came down here for a mini leagues game and then I've been playing down here since and then moved in for camogie a few years later. So I suppose I've been playing football with O'Mahony since I've been maybe 11 or 12 and then a year or two later came in to play camogie then as well.
And if anybody trying to start out or anybody that would like to get involved, for example, like, do you have any kind of, this is my one tip for you to be half decent at or to have a good foundation at least?
I think at the moment, the fact that we have the 3 ladies teams, it really opens up the chance for anyone who wants to play. The junior F team is a mix of younger girls coming up and then other girls who are coming back and then girls who are still playing a good few years. So I think the fact that there is 3 teams in the football, it really means that even if you haven't played before, you can just come down and see what it's like. There's probably no real tip. It's just to stick at it. There's no quick way of getting good at anything, I'm afraid, these days. It's just to stick at it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And what does a training session look like for you? Are you doing laps? Are you doing drills? Are you doing games?
I think laps are kind of gone out now, aren't they?
Right. Okay. We've done laps in my day.
Yeah, no, I think that's gone out. So during the December, January, we've been in the gym a good bit. Strength and conditioning has really taken a hold in ladies' side of the club now as well, where it used to be quite a male predominant activity. But last year and the year before, we had been in the gym for the year and it was brilliant. And then this year we've been back in as well. So at the moment, it's kind of a mix of gym and pitch-based stuff. And obviously with some of the pitches being closed at the moment, we've just been out on the AstroTurf, so you're trying to manage the load on the AstroTurf as well. So it's kind of a mix of ball work and running work at the moment and just getting a feel for getting back into what the ball looks like, I suppose, after a few weeks off.
Yeah, I understand. And game preparation, is there anything you specifically... So, for example, if I was playing a championship game, I wouldn't really leave the house. I'd just sit at the house all day, I'd relax, I'd chill.
For me, I love a morning game, just get it over and done with.
Yeah.
For championship last year, a lot of the games were in the evening and I just felt myself hanging around. I suppose might go for a walk, just try to get out the house to do something else, but I don't do anything now. I have no superstitions or nothing that I strictly need to do before a game. I just try to do something small to take my mind off it, I suppose, especially coming up to bigger games than championship time.
And do you get nervous before games?
Yeah, so last year, I suppose, with my sister playing, my dad being involved and myself being involved, it consumes the house sometimes. So yeah. It can be an environment that you get very nervous in. But like, I think nerves mean that you care, really. If you weren't nervous about something, you mightn't just care much about it. So I suppose it's trying to manage how nervous you get, especially when you have the bigger days coming up. But when you've played on bigger days like a Leinster final or an All-Ireland semi-final, the nerves kind of outweigh everything, and then you can tailor it back down to when it's just a round of a championship game and you might just look at the perspective of it.
And preparing for you guys, like championship, obviously you're getting to quite high levels. Is there, before a game, do you work lots of tactics? Do you kind of plan for the other team?
Yeah, I think you have to look at both at your own strengths and then the strengths that the other team bring as well. So obviously we want to play on our own strengths and not to be too focused on the other team. But as I said, the standard in Meath is really high at the moment. So it's also looking at what the other team might bring to the party and how we can try to stop them from working to their strengths as well. So it's a mix of what we can do in terms of tactics and how to slow the other team down in terms of their tactics.
If mistakes in a game, does it stress you out? Do you dwell on it, or is it?
I don't. I think it might be something that I probably would dwell on more when I get home, especially if you lose. You're kind of thinking, oh God, if I had just done that, it might have changed the game. But during the game, there's no time really to think about the mistake you've made. We all made simple mistakes during a game, whether that be that you hop the ball instead of passing it, or a bigger mistake that leads to the other team scoring. I think nobody's perfect on the pitch, so we all make mistakes. So it's something that you just have to try go for the next ball and make up for it, I suppose.
And if I was to say, what do you think your best achievement in hurling or camogie is?
I think like winning a Leinster junior medal in 2019 it definitely has to be up there. I only found out last year that we're the only team to actually have a Leinster medal in the club, which is pretty big going. And then obviously like a road trip down to Cork isn't something that you usually get to do with your club mates. It might be something that you do when you're on a county panel, but I suppose getting to go down to Cork for a night playing quite a strong Cork team in an All-Ireland semi-final is definitely a memorable achievement for myself, and I think a lot of the members of the team as well.
So you played them in Cork?
Yeah, we played Moyne in Cork.
That was a bit unfair, was it?
It's just home advantage. It was, it was Rena Buckley's team, who'd be one of the most successful lady footballers and camogues for Cork. It happened to be her club team, so we knew going down that they had some strong players, and I know some of the younger girls actually got photos with her after the game because she's such a legend in the sport. But days like that like don't come often, so they're definitely big achievements when you do get to play a top quality team, and as you said, down in their home venue. Like,
yeah, I got you. Well, that's some of the home venues are lovely as well. You go down to Limerick, Tipperary.
Yeah,
you'd prefer to almost be there than at your place. And what's the ambition for this year? What do you?
In terms of league, for camogie to get out of the division we're in, we lost the league final last year, so we were definitely pushing for a league final and hopefully to win then again. And then in football to first year up in Division 1 in a good while, so to stay up in Division 1, and then Championship hopefully to push on from where we got to last year. So definitely hoping for a semi-final in senior football and to be competitive, I suppose, in Senior B in camogie. It's our first time there. We got relegated 2 years ago. So to be competitive at that level, I think would be realistic, and hopefully to push on for maybe the knockout stages.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Thanks very much. Thanks for your time.
That was quick and easy.
That's great.